DJ Scott.
You're a philosopher? Yes, I think very deeply.
Right. All right. Well, I'm honored to be here in East Point, Atlanta. Is East Point
a city?
It's not Atlanta.
Well, it's Atlanta. It's there are like so many little smaller cities around.
Okay, around.
So it's sort of like it's a city, but it's sort of like a suburb of Atlanta.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're here in East Point, Georgia. I'm just honored to be here with Chef Trev and the
Judy.
owner of Lovin It Live, Judy
Harper.
How long have you been in business?
13 years.
Wow. I was telling Chef yesterday, by the way, it's been about 12 years. I think I was here about 12 years ago. So, and I probably did meet you. I want to say so. So, again, this was, I always make it a mission if I'm visiting other cities, definitely try out the raw food spots.
Right, I know what you mean.
So this was definitely didn't disappoint. It didn't
Great.
disappoint yesterday. It's just a blessing to be able to travel and to not miss a beat in terms of just having to settle for fruits and salads and things, something simple, something that in terms of obviously living the lifestyle. What's important is to have us create dishes that are not only satisfying to the palate, but bring some creativity, some uniqueness, and just satisfy us on so many levels.
Right.
So it's just a blessing to be able to come here, and so I'm here this weekend, and I just wanted to just interview the both of you, and really just find out what's the raw food scene like here, your own personal stories, just all the things that I deal with, but here in a different part of a different city, a different part of the country. We're here in the South. DC is not quite the South.
Yeah,
I mean, it has some Southern elements, but this is definitely the South.
Right.
So I'm just really curious. But so first, let me start with you, and let me ask you, like, okay, what brought you to having a restaurant? Just a restaurant. Have you always been in the restaurant business?
No, this is our first time, our first experience or whatever. But I retired I worked for Bell South like 25 years. My husband was in real estate, and he started to have had a major health issue. And so we were, since I retired, kind of looking around for something else to do.
Oh, okay.
And because of his health issues and him not wanting to just go the traditional way or whatever, he started kind of like.
So what kind of health issues he had?
He was having, I don't know if it was like a stroke or a heart attack.
Okay.
Or, but
Okay.
it was like major.
Or both. I mean, they
Right.
one strike, the other one, Okay.
Right, exactly. 'Cause
So-
I think that's what it was, really.
So what happened?
So he had hypertension, and he's had hypertension since he was like a teenager. And he didn't want to take the pharmaceutical drugs.
Okay.
And, I think that's what happened really, and how it developed to the stage that it did.
Okay.
So we were just looking for some other means of, like, to do something for a business. And
Okay.
he came home one day and said, oh, well, let's open up a completely raw foods restaurant. Right, that sounds like him, right?
That
You
sounds like
must have said, "Are you
Right,
like,
right. I said, what?
are you smoking?"
We don't know anything about.
Right.
We don't know anything about, the restaurant business
Right.
and whatever, and maybe we should do like vegetarian and raw, whatever. Just have some raw dishes or whatever. No. We're gonna do it completely. We're gonna do it completely raw.
Okay.
And so, that's where we got started. So we were getting ready to go to a family reunion in Philadelphia. So I said, okay, well, why don't we just go to New York and just visit a couple of raw foods restaurants to see,
Right.
we can
Okay,
talk to somebody.
What year was this?
This must have been, I guess, 2005.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
2005.
Yeah, there's definitely some raw food
2004,
restaurants in
2005,
New York
yeah,
at the time.
Yeah.
Because actually, we went to Quintessence. Yeah.
But there was nothing raw here in the Atlanta area.
At the time, there had been. There
Okay.
had been
Oh.
Eat Eternal Life,
Yeah.
Okay.
which was, like a raw foods cafe.
And actually, I'm remiss because there was before that, I'm sure, Delights of the Garden.
Exactly.
Which
Exactly.
those are my brothers.
That was the very first.
Yes, exactly.
Before even Eternal Life.
Okay.
Mhm.
And what was his other one?
Eternal Life.
Eternal Life. And they were all raw?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't
Absolutely.
familiar with them. Okay.
Grassroots, all raw.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
All right.
were.
And so, so tell me what happened. So you went. Did you go to the family reunion?
Oh yeah, we went to the
Okay.
family reunion, and then even actually while we were in Philadelphia, we got like several of our family members. We came back. We went back to New York.
Oh, so you did go to New
that.
York.
Oh yes, so we did.
You went to the. Okay, you went to Quintessence.
We went to Quintessence and
Pure
another.
Food and Wine.
Not that time.
Not
We
that
didn't.
time, okay.
We didn't go to Pure Food and Wine because I think Pure Food
Was it
and Wine
Harlem
wasn't
Soul?
that.
Harlem Soul? The one in Harlem?
It wasn't. We didn't get a chance. We went there, but they were closed.
Okay.
So we didn't get a chance to.
Okay.
Later on, when we went back for another trip, we did get
Okay.
a chance to go
Okay.
to Raw Soul.
Well, so
Mhm.
yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
And so what was the whole process in terms of actually? Well, first learning, the cuisine from a chef standpoint, and then the business side of opening a restaurant.
Well, really, I looked online and I found this person whose name I can't remember now. I think like out of Denver, like there was a consultant.
Okay.
So I contacted him.
Okay.
And so he, consulted with me, like told me like some basic things
In terms of the raw.
in terms of the raw,
Okay.
materials to start with.
Okay.
Nuts, seeds,
Sure.
seasoning, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But we had when we started out, we had the chef that had been in Eternal Life because they had since closed. So we started out with her. She was going to be the chef.
Okay.
And, although I had gotten a couple of books and started doing a couple of things at the house, but, I in no way felt like I was ready to,
Right.
be the main
Right.
person for the
Right.
restaurant. So we started with her.
Okay.
And then, we had some kind of issues, miscommunications, and she left.
Okay.
And, because I was like trying to introduce like I said, like they were like ground roots kind of raw.
Yeah.
I said, no, I want to, have a different kind of vibe, because I had been to Quintessence. So I said, no, I want to be kind of like a Southern kind of Quintessence.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I want
Yeah.
tablecloths, different kind of dishes other than just hummus and whatever, like the basic kind of stuff.
Right.
And so, she didn't really want to go that way with me, so we departed.
Okay. So what'd you do next?
So then it was, and we were having like a big event coming up, and she quit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had to do the food. I had it was another guy that had formerly been at Eternal. He came in, he helped me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But just kind of like
Got thrown into
it and just did the best I could, and just because I like to eat, so I know that was like the foundation because I like to eat, and so I know what kind of flavor I'm looking for. So just kind of like playing around with different things, using like different books, like what's his name, Raw from California.
Charlie Charter and Roxanne.
Yeah, I had their book, but before that, what's Juliana's book? Yeah, but
Okay.
Just kind of like cold turkey started from there.
Okay, that's awesome. And your husband, he turned raw.
Oh, he was raw before me. Actually, he was vegetarian before I was.
Okay.
And so, I wasn't gonna let him get healthy without me. So I decided that, okay, well, I'll try the raw for a little bit. But so he was like the main one, but yeah.
So did you end up turning raw? And you both of you have been raw now? Yeah. I eat cooked food. Okay. He does too, some. Okay.
But for that time, we were like strictly just raw. Okay. And I think that was like very helpful in terms of like mentally, getting us on the right path.
Sure.
To be able to like learn, because like when you eat raw, it's just that you just go to another plane. Yeah. In terms of your mental capacities, your physicality,
exactly,
and all of that. Okay. So yeah.
So let me ask you this then. You said you do eat some cooked food. Well, why
vegetarian?
Is it just for variety or
just
comfort, or
I guess like just comfort and just ease of getting it right then sometimes. Still
what
be all
kind of
vegetarian.
balance? I mean, is it? Do you find that is in terms of having a balance? Because I mean, yes, I myself, I deal with a lot of people, and I know most of my customers are not all raw, and I don't expect them to be. However, they're raw curious, and probably most of them will do raw for maybe a season, and then they'll introduce some cooked foods here and there. So I'm just curious on like what's your balance in terms of because the thing is like with the cooked food, what can happen is like, okay, maybe you're eating one cooked meal a week, and then it's like every other day, then it's like every day, and then it's like, when was the last time I had raw?
Yeah.
So because that's what can happen. So how do you balance that out?
Well, because I'm here.
Okay. Great. Okay.
So I'm not like going home cooking.
There you go.
Or whatever.
Okay.
So
it's in front of it's now become convenient for you to do more raw because of the business.
Right.
That's awesome. That's great. That's great. Okay. All right. So how has it been as a speaking on the business? How has it been? Because it's been 13 years. I'm sure you've had your ups and downs. I mean, what's the vision, and what's the, where do you see this business going to?
Well, actually, it was, like rough or whatever, but on the one hand, it was fortunate because we didn't have any experience, so we didn't have sense enough to know you need to close. So you know what I'm saying? The profits are not there. I mean, business wise, I know, about profits or whatever, but I'm just thinking, okay, well, we just hang in, a little longer, we'll do this, we'll do that, or whatever. And so we just didn't quit. Okay. We just kept going.
So you didn't close?
No, we didn't close.
Okay.
We never closed.
Like temporarily?
Oh, no, we never closed.
That's great.
We always kept going. Yeah. Because I think too, like when you do raw foods, it really like affects your karma. I really feel like that. And so we're just so fortunate that like what we need would just kind of like just walk through the door. Like that's how we met T. He just came through the door and said, "Hey, I want to work here." And you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And our other staff, like, "Hey, you know what? It's just like fortune. We just attract
Right.
what we need."
Right, exactly. Maybe you know they always say, you know what they say is not when you want it, but it's always on time.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. All right. So that's a good segue into Chef T, as affectionately known. So yeah. So let's. What's your? You know, you're not from.
I'm originally from South Carolina.
Originally from South Carolina,
Right.
and so that leads to a whole bunch of questions because it's like, wow, that's you know, I mean, it don't get no deeper southern than that.
Yeah, exactly.
South Carolina. So I mean, take us from South Carolina. Now you waffle chef.
Right.
Like, how does that happen?
Oh man.
Well, I mean, you obviously first became vegetarian.
Right.
Okay, so
Back
tell
in-
me what.
I listened, like I told you, I heard, first time I heard the term vegetarian was KRS-One.
Right.
That was back in '88.
Right.
And my sister was older than me.
Okay.
My sister's older than me.
Well, how old are you, if you don't mind
I'm
me
40.
asking? Okay.
Yeah, so my older sister, she heard it, and we was talking about it.
Right.
But I was like, I didn't research it until later on. When I researched it, I was like, that's ridiculous. I said, why would anybody want not to eat meat?
Okay.
And from South Carolina, you have to understand, we're barbecue, fried chicken. We are,
Exactly.
you know, everything is nothing healthy.
Exactly.
Especially where I'm from in
So
Orangeburg.
in '88, you like what,
10 years old. I was 10.
Wow.
Yeah. So the thing was, it wasn't until my late teens I realized, okay, late teens, early 20s, I said, I'm gonna have to research this vegetarian thing again because I was borderline hypertensive, borderline high cholesterol. And my mother's a nurse, my sister's a nurse.
And what did your mother tell you? We talked yesterday.
My mother told me, when I told them I was going vegetarian.
And you a young man.
I'm a young man.
Young, you know.
My mother, when I told my mother, she said, yeah, that's the right thing to do. And I said, well, why y'all ain't doing it? And why y'all ain't been told me about it? So that's how I ended up becoming a vegetarian, because I didn't want to get on the pharmaceutical drugs. So that's why I took another alternative.
Yeah, because you said what? What was your what was the big motivation?
With my mother?
Yeah, what she tell you?
Oh, she told me that was the right thing to do. That's what she
Right.
said.
And then what would happen?
Oh, she always told me, she said, listen, if you get on pharmaceutical drugs and high blood pressure medicine,
right.
you're going to be impotent.
Right.
So that right there made me like,
Enough
hey,
motivation.
okay, that was enough motivation at 20-something years old
Right.
to go into vegetarian.
Now you always, I mean, unlike myself, like I didn't go to chef school.
Right.
You went to chef
I did.
school. Okay, so tell me about that.
I went to the Cordon Bleu.
Okay, so for
that's a
those
French-
that not
That's a French culinary school.
okay, so the Cordon Bleu in terms of like the chef world, that's I mean, it sounds fancy.
Right.
It's for those like myself, even though I am a chef, you know, ignorant of that. That's like it sounds like a reputable.
It is.
Okay.
It is. It's a very reputable high end school. Like it's out of France, Paris, and it's all French cuisine. But while I was in school, I was the only vegetarian, so I used to get mocked. They
Okay.
used to be like, "Oh, you want to eat vegetables? How you gonna do this? How you gonna taste this?" But I never was pressured into tasting anything.
Really?
Never. They never pressured me.
How
into
many years were you at
It
the
was
school?
I did 18 months, and it was a 2-year accelerated course, but I did the 18 months.
Okay.
So it would have been 2 years, but I did it in 18 months.
Okay.
And so I took that.
Star student.
Huh?
Star student.
But so I did it in 18 months. Got out, and I was vegetarian the whole time. So
Wow.
I was like,
That's
I'm
interesting.
helping. I said to myself, man, I'm helping myself, but I'm hurting people.
Right.
So it don't make sense to me. I said, I'm getting myself better, but I'm also damaging people by serving in this French cuisine, because if you know French cuisine, it's a butter, lots of fat, foods like that, and animals. So I was like, oh no, I got to get out of this. I didn't know how at the time, because back then it was not that many vegan restaurants around, especially down here. And so I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this, but I'm gonna have to try to figure a way to get out of this. And
Well, get out of what?
get out of that whole culinary industry,
Well,
serving
you wanted to be a chef.
yeah,
You-
but I
was-
wanted to be healthy. I didn't want to.
Okay.
I didn't want to do the
I
French
mean, was
cuisine
there
anymore.
at that time? Was there anything that inspired you, or any example that say, okay, I can do that, or I can? I mean, because you were you here at that time, or were you still in South Carolina?
I was here. I was here in Atlanta.
Okay,
I was in Atlanta.
so you were here. The school was here.
Yeah, the school.
Oh, so that's what brought you here.
Right, the school was
Okay.
here. The school was here, and but it wasn't that many vegan, vegetarian restaurants like back then, and that I knew about.
Right.
And then I was like, I got to get out of this French cuisine and get into healthy cuisine. So I just trial and error, honestly. I remember the day, but see, I wasn't vegetarian when I lived in Memphis. So I lived in Memphis too. So when I was living in Memphis, which was the barbecue place, another barbecue.
Would they have those?
Yeah.
All you can eat.
All you eat
buffets.
barbecue. Exactly. So I remember the day I told my ex, I said, I'm this Friday when I finish these pork chops, I'm going vegetarian. I told her, you didn't have to. She said, well, I'm gonna do it with you. So we ended up doing it together.
Well, what's interesting as a chef, because you mentioned something interesting in terms of like the French cuisine being like high in fat. And
Right.
As a raw food chef, I found that it's not that different
Right.
in terms of like fat,
Right.
sugar,
Right.
salt.
Right.
I tell people all the time, I love fat,
Right.
I love
We all
sugar,
do.
and I
We all
love
do.
salt. We need those
We
things.
do.
We just need them in the proper form.
Right.
And we need them, grown or ripened, I like
Right.
to say, in the right way. So how was that? Was that something like what took place in terms of you to get that understanding that like, okay,
Research.
research.
Just researching, buying books, reading everything. Hilton Hotima books.
Okay.
I used to read a lot of Hilton. I still read a lot of Hilton
Okay.
Hotima books.
Okay.
Arnold Ehret books.
Okay.
Bernard Jensen books.
Uh-huh.
I read a lot. So I read just information.
Okay, so all of those guys, I love those guys. Those guys have been instrumental for myself. However, becoming what was it in terms of raw culinary cuisine? Because those guys weren't necessarily chefs.
Right.
They're giving you the information.
So just like when I decided to go to one of the top culinary schools, I wanted to know who was the top raw food in raw food. So that's when I found Reese. I looked up Reese.
Okay.
And
How did you find the Reese?
The internet.
Okay.
Called him. He said,
Okay.
come down to Jamaica.
Okay.
2 weeks later, I was down in Jamaica.
Oh,
Didn't know nobody, didn't know him.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so for those I mean, that's
Right,
one of
just
the
went on the
things,
plane.
and I think that's how he told me about you.
Right.
For those of you that don't know, I mean, Aris Latham, I say he is the father,
Yeah.
the godfather
Right.
of raw culinary cuisine. Raw culinary cuisine is really a new. It's really a new art form in a
Right.
sense. Yes, raw
Right.
food had been around since the beginning.
Right.
So I pause when I say it's new, but in terms of
It's in this cycle.
Right.
It came back around.
it came back
Because
around.
back in, remember 1918, we had John and Vera Richter out in California. They had the raw food restaurant out there. It was Eutropia, I think it was
Okay.
called. They had it back then. It lasted 25 years. So it just came back around, everything in cycles.
Right.
But
And
the
what's
Reese-
that Russian couple? Aren't they Russian? Victoria.
Oh, you talking about Victoria's Kavinskas?
Yeah.
Victoria's,
yeah.
but he started the Hippocrates with Ann Whitmore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, right, and
And Dick Gregory.
And,
Brother
and
Dick
I
Gregory.
think it's
Right.
important to note that, like, what Aris brought to the table,
He
because you
changed.
had these institutes
Right.
and these places of healing
Right.
primarily, and what you also had was, basically was nothing really fancy,
Right.
really more on the line of
Right.
fruits, salads, real
Right.
simple,
Right.
real bland.
Right.
And
Reese
Reese, as he affectionately says, he spiced it.
He did.
Yeah.
He
He
really
spiced
did.
it.
He did.
And it's a difference when you come into this cuisine, because those people were motivated by the fact that they just wanted to live.
Right.
So it wasn't like, okay, I'm actually healthy,
Right.
but I just want to do this.
Because didn't it start off as just for people being really ill and wanting to get healed? The living
Yes, absolutely, right, and that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like the Ann Wigmore, even before that, those people were just, again, drinking wheatgrass
Right.
and sprouts,
Right.
and again, very bland
Right.
foods, not a lot of flavor, not a lot of spice and
Right.
things like that. Just wanting to heal from cancer,
Right.
and terminal diseases. So it was again kind of boring,
Right.
So Reese's. And again, he has been not only, obviously he's our elder, but
Right.
he's also been a teacher for me, a mentor,
Right.
and for you as well.
Right.
So tell me, okay, so what did you learn?
With Aries?
Yes.
we worked together a few times, actually.
Okay.
We worked out in Jamaica, and then we actually came to, when I was living in South Florida. He came down there. We did like a couple classes down there. I learned a lot because, like you said, he was real intense. I can remember one time when he started the pies, because he loved those pies.
Yeah.
He was super intense, and I'm like, why is he so serious about this thing?
Yeah.
But that was it, as
Yeah.
I know, that's
Yeah.
his baby,
Yeah.
the pies,
Yeah.
the Paradise Pies.
Right.
So he was super intense on me.
Right.
And I was like, man, like the French culinary teachers wasn't like this.
Uh-huh.
But he was so passionate about it, but I understand now and understand now why he was so passionate about
Okay.
it. Because it is an art form, it's culinary art.
Right.
And you could be super creative with those pies.
Mhm.
And so I respect him for that.
Mhm.
And I also respect him because he also brought that vibration of flavors.
Yes.
Right.
That flavor, because
Yeah.
I've eaten in California. I'm sure you have.
Yes.
California, and I've eaten in New York City,
Yes.
and I've eaten in here, and I've eaten in Colombia, and I've eaten a lot of different places. And his food is a whole nother vibration. It's the
Sunlight.
right. It's
Sunfire.
It's sunfire.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
the
just
sunfire.
sunfire.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's what it
right.
is.
That's right. Okay, so I developed these 5 steps, becoming and staying raw. So just to quickly go through them: detox, become green,
Right.
or as people like to say, alkaline.
Right.
So those two kind of really go together.
Absolutely.
You got to become a chef,
Right.
somewhat of a chef.
Absolutely.
You got to be able to make a good salad. The education component, we touched on
Right,
that. You
right.
said you researched, and then the social
Mhm.
aspect as well.
Mhm.
So, and this question is for both of you. What do you feel is the biggest hurdle for most people in terms of just a raw food lifestyle? And if it's not on that list,
Right. For people staying raw,
yes,
going raw and staying
yeah,
raw,
absolutely.
I think it's the education.
Mm-hmm.
The educating, once they understand and understand that. And I think also I noticed this with people, the term raw
Mm-hmm.
kind of scare a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear people all the time, and I say raw food, and they're like, "Oh, I can't eat raw." And I say, "Well, what's wrong? You can't eat fresh food?"
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when they say, "Oh, okay, I can eat fresh food." And I say, "See, it's the term. I think it is. It's the raw food that scares a lot of people away. Plus, they have to get the education on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really big on it. You have to get the education on it.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get the education, I think that's how people would come into the lifestyle and stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I was telling you last night, I said the vegan movement is huge right now.
Mm-hmm.
the plant-based movement is not real big right now, but the vegan, because I look at them too differently. I look at the vegan movement as the processed foods, the junk foods, but it's technically, like they say, Oreos are vegan.
Now,
Yeah.
Really?
So people eating those foods, I see the movement is there now, but plant-based hasn't touched yet. I mean, it's touching, but it hasn't hit yet. So I think it's the education.
Okay. So what would you say? You know, I get.
Okay, you can come in and wait if you like.
I get asked a lot about food deserts. So, you know, being here in Atlanta, what's I mean, I know that there's food deserts everywhere, and I have a little bit of an issue with that term because I know that people here are not starving.
Right.
You know, when I think of desert, I think barren, nothing. You know, but in terms of you know, but people like this term. What's your thought on that in terms of, like, obviously providing, you know, being this healthy resource in the community?
I was going to say too about your other question that I think people have the misconception that all the food is bland and that they're not going to like it. But when they get an opportunity to really experience flavor, and you know, a lot of times too, they have to kind of make an adaptation as far as texture is concerned.
Okay.
But once they get the flavor
Right.
and see that, oh, okay, this is good. Well, oh yeah, I can do this because the flavor is there. And then so often we really don't even know what vegetables taste like, you know, because we've been so inundated with sauces and whatever. You know,
What have been cooked to death.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you know, just cook the life right out of them. Right. Yeah. So
but as far as like a desert, I think that's what it is too, because and because of our society is so quick paced, we want everything in a minute. Convenience. Right. So, I mean, I know that, like, with me, that's a problem, like, if I'm eating cooked food, because it's convenient, I'm there, and I can just, you know, get it. Of course, I could get just a piece of fruit or whatever, but, you know.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do now is we'll conclude this part. Just mention I mean, we are living the life. Well, the last thing I want to say. Okay. This is the only raw food restaurant, all raw food restaurant in Atlanta.
Yes.
Because I didn't think that. You know, I know that there's some other places that are doing raw foods, but this is the only raw food spot. Okay. So have you thought about, like, expanding the menu and doing things other than raw, or you wanted to stick, or what allowed you to stick to the all raw?
No, we haven't entertained, like, you know, becoming raw and vegan or raw and vegetarian. One, we don't have the capacity, the space, but just that, you know, we want to kind of just maintain this outlet for people that,
That's great. Yeah.
you know, are interested in just raw, or that want to just experience it and try it out for, you know, a meal or so.
All right. So how do they find you? You're on social media?
Well, yeah, we have, you know, social media, but, you know, we don't really advertise a whole lot. We don't have money to really do a lot of advertising. So I'd say basically word of mouth.
Okay.
And then, like, I really feel like we're like a vortex here, And so, like, when because people can drive by and never see us.
Right.
But when they're awake and it's time, they find us. So, you know, I can When we
Well, that's the
opened,
best
we
way.
weren't
That's the best
looking.
advertising.
Yeah, we weren't looking to become like a Fortune 500 company or whatever.
Sure,
we were just
sure.
doing something just to make
For
some
the-
money.
for the right reason.
Yes, right.
For the right reason. And when you do it for the right reason, it works out.
Mm-hmm.
It works out.
Yes.
And for you, I know they can find you.
Social media, Instagram, Facebook.
Okay, what's your handle?
Oh, Chef Trev 1 on Instagram, I believe, and
Okay.
Malik Tafari on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we
yeah.
do have Instagram,
Uh-huh.
Facebook, webpage.
Okay.
We do. We're
Yeah.
in the 21st century, so.
All right.
Gotta be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you're in Atlanta, you got to definitely check it out. It is this brother right here is bringing the love, and that's the most important ingredient for the food. So when you're here, definitely check it out. All right. Well, thank you for your time. We're gonna try to get Chef to do us a little demo. If not, next time. And also, they invited me to come to be a guest chef, so I'm excited to do that as well. So stay tuned.
Yes. Thank you.
Here they are, hear it firsthand from an intelligent brown man, a vegetarian